Hi guys, welcome to Straight News TV and another one of our programmes from Reds in America. I'm joined tonight by two Reds that you will have seen, and the other one you won't have seen because he's not a Red. But he's going to be quite a good insight into our next opponent, so it's great to have him on the show. But we'll start off with the two familiar Reds that you know from the States. Pasha, how are we doing, pal?
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, as always, man. It's good to have your feisty opinions on. Nate, how are we doing, pal?
Doing well. Happy to be on. Excited that the Reds are back.
Yeah, I think everyone's quite getting involved with the fact that we're back in business, back in pre-season. And I'm going to bring in Dusty, who's on Twitter at Total MLS. Let's just give a bit of insight into yourself there, Dusty.
I run Total MLS, which is a site that covers Major League Soccer here in North America. I actually live in Texas, in Houston, and if you know anything about the Earthquakes, which we'll be talking about in a minute, it's a bit of an irony. The Earthquakes moved to Houston, became the Houston Dynamo, then they were reborn as the Earthquakes again, which is a bit of a weird MLS franchise thing going on, but yeah, that's pretty much what I've got going on.
Cool, man. Cool. It's good to have you on. And we'll get back into Dusty in a bit. I'm going to concentrate for the first 5-10 minutes just on the Club America game. Obviously, we've seen an array of debutants, and in actual fact, I think we've got to say we were all impressed with them. Pasha, your thoughts on the game? Obviously, stateside, that'd have been nice to see at your time of the day, not the 4 a.m. get up that we had to get up over there in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a great game. I mean, the preseason is all about getting these lads, getting their fitnesses up before the incoming season is going to start. But it was great seeing how well our new signings played, especially for me, Schneiderlin. He was definitely the man of the match for me for the first half, and the second I was obviously Pereira coming in. And, as Giggsy said, that he wants youngsters to take their chances, and he definitely did do that. One of the players that I always raved about on Twitter, and people close to me know that, was Darmian. I'm so glad he did a fantastic job because, as we know, Italian players are really tactical. They care more about the tactical side of the game as opposed to, the free-flowing, just playing the dynamic kind of the game. So that was great to see. In the long run, Schneider is going to be a big key player, as he showed that, the way he breaks up plays, the way he attacks, the way he defenses. He's a great cover for the back four. If Carrick is out, and once again, the thing that Louis Van Gaal has addressed, as I've said numerous of times, this team, we don't have enough depth, and now we're addressing that. In order to fight in the Champions League, Capitals, One Cup, FA Cup, EPL, we need depth, and that's what it comes down to. And it was just a fantastic performance, knowing that, Club America, they're getting their season ready on their 5C and stuff. But no, it was a great performance overall. But I was really impressed by the youngsters in the second half. It showed a lot of a lot they want to break into the first team, wanting to get a first team spot. So no, it was great, and I'm just so excited for the season. All our signings did a fantastic job, and it just goes on to tell that so far the signings we've had, they've been fantastic, and they are fantastic on paper, and they show that throughout the game, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think you picked up on a couple of those. Obviously, Schneiderlin scoring after 5 minutes on his debut is just dream stuff, isn't it, really? You just don't expect him to be. But his post-match interview, he mentioned the fact that he did that for Southampton, that's where he was put on the far post to get in and around defenders. Obviously, the height of the team now has been something that Louis Van Gaal put up last season and said, we've not got enough height in the team, so he brought in now and then scored straight off a header into the far post. Performance-wise, I thought it was quite really good sort of performance for most halves. Sort of people stuck out. Darmian stuck out. He went bombing down the right-hand side. And Schneiderlin was all over the pitch. You just don't know where to bloody look. And for the next minute, he just turned up somewhere else, which was superb to see. Depay, his vision at times is unreal, and when he gets that sort of link up with Rooney, it's going to be absolutely tremendous to see him. And I think also, in actual fact, when Hernandez gets to play with him, Hernandez will get the sort of run off the shoulder of a defender that nobody else is going to be able to pick up. especially if Depay's putting in those type of balls over the top. So yeah, some really good attacking football on show. The youth that came on the second half, Pereira impressed hell of a lot. Jesse Lingard didn't do too bad on the right. Up top, Yanazai, I thought it was a bit quiet, but you know he's still trying to work his way back into the first team plans. And then obviously James Wilson, he could have had a couple there, but people went, oh, these play really, really well. I was like, yeah, well, they've played for 3 seasons in the reserves and the 21s together. They know where everyone is going to be, so it's superb. Nate, what was your thoughts on the performance?
Yeah, the performance was really good. I mean, first match, fitness, players, new players, old players. I mean, a lot of that always comes into play, but for me, it was really kind of a classic 1-0 performance. We got the early goal, and then just watching Schneiderlin break everything up was, I mean, it almost brought tears to my eyes. We've been waiting for that for so long, somebody who does that just as good as he does. And then obviously getting your debut goal is a dream, but then even pushing into the second half, I mean, Club America play obviously in the Mexican League, and their football's different, short passes, it's quick runs. It's obviously a lot different than the Premier League, and I think some of that was on display, and them being at full fitness in some of their competitions already and getting ready for their season. So it was a great test all around, but I thought it was a classic 1-0 with the goal, and then we just broke everything up. There were a couple of chances on their end. We had our own. Yanazai hit a couple of great hits. Wilson and watching Pereira on the left and Lingard on the right was great. Like watching them run with pace, with excitement. So for a first match, I couldn't be more proud of the guys, and especially the new signings, kind of betting in, getting ready for what we all know is the most important thing after last preseason's big wins, lots of goals. Watching them play, and then to come out and obviously lose to Swansea at home was just devastating. So I'm hoping everyone, and it sounds that way, that everyone's focused on Tottenham on the 8th of August, and we're ready to go out of the gates blazing. So fun game, happy for Schneiderlin, and ready to see what other pieces Van Gaal's going to throw in to try and get the squad that he feels is his, because he's making it his own squad, and we can't hate on that. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, we've seen a number of outgoings as well as incomings. So yeah, his squad is now he's still in building process. He's named that he wants a couple more in positions. So that's still going to be an interesting. We won't go on transfer talk, or we'd be here for the next 6 years with another whole who's here, who's not, who's coming, who's still going, what's going on. But yeah, I think the whole. We didn't actually mention it in actually picking up names of players that did well in that match. Was keeper Sam Johnston in the first half, who was absolutely exceptional. I'm not entirely sure what their tactic of they do count really quickly. I noticed that quite early on, but they were getting caught offside a lot. But Johnston was always sharp to the ball, always coming out. At one point, I thought he was playing centre back because he was that far out. I was like, well, Manuel Neuer turned up. What's going on? But yeah, he was quite good to see him coming out alert, wanting to break up the play. But when he was actually needed, he was critical. He went straight in at the feet and took the ball off them. So I thought that was really good to see him sort of bring on what he has been doing for the reserves for so long, and getting his chance. He proved what he should have been doing. So yeah, I think that's another key point that was mentioned in the comments. I'm going to keep on those comments on the chat. If you're going to do comment and join in, let's have your views in the chat box, guys. We'll pick up on those in a minute. I'm actually going to go back on to Dusty now. And what I wanted to talk to you about was the MLS is obviously growing as a franchise and as a sport in the US. And it's now bringing up some sort of like real big names. We've seen Lampard move there. Obviously, you know, there's so many names. Gerrard. Those sort of names that sort of get bashed around in the Premier League for years and years and years. Robbie Keane, Thierry Henry went there. Do you really think that these sort of players are going to be what really brings the MLS home? And not only just that, but the sort of effects of like teams like United, Barcelona, PSG obviously in the United's tour this year, them going to the States for these games. United have been travelling all over the world and bringing massive, millions of followers. But what sort of effects do you think this has on the future of the MLS?
Yeah, as far as the different players that have come over, it kind of started, I guess, with Beckham back about maybe 10 years ago now.
How on earth did I miss out Beckham? Jesus, he's now got his own franchise.
He is. He's starting up a team in Miami, which still 3 or 4 years away. But yeah, it's been this kind of older English European player model that started to come, and that's still going on. But it seems a lot of teams are now going for a little more younger South American type players. Sebastian Jovinko has come over from Juventus, and he's destroying the league. He's got, I think, 10 goals, 8 assists, something crazy like that already. So it's these younger players that she's excited too. These younger guys that are kind of becoming more of the norm now as MLS continues to grow. They're not so reliant on the European older retirement league, as MLS has sometimes been called. It's kind of shifting a bit.
Yeah, I would presume that's going to create, and I like the idea that they're going for South Americans, because there's so many South Americans that go, they'll only sort of move out into Europe if they're not going to stay where they are. Carlos Tevez, ended up at United, but he's on his way back now and plays for Boca Juniors. But it's quite strange that the first stop, because MLS, like we say, pre-Beckham, was just non-existent in ideas of being in terms of big world football, and it's not there now, but it's still growing. But yeah, I think if you go back previous to 10 years, then those South American players, Argentinian, Brazilians, would just flocked into Europe and will play for anybody and everybody. United never really had a good track record with Brazilians, although obviously, like we've mentioned, Argentina, Veron, we could name a couple. But yeah, I think that's quite a healthy thing for the MLS to have something quite close to their doorstep. And both nations really play quite attractive and attacking football, so that's also another point in there. I'm going to actually ask this earlier on rather than later on. Dusty, who would you like to see at the United? Rooney's come out this week and said that he wouldn't mind ending his career in America. Is there another ones that you could actually put up that you'd want to see in the MLS in years' time from United?
I mean, obviously there's a number of players that United have that would be great additions to the league, and yeah, Rooney's kind of hinted at maybe 2017 coming over, and there's been talk of there's a new franchise in Atlanta supposed to start up then, and they've been linked to Rooney already. They don't even have anything resembling a team, but they're already being linked to Rooney. Yeah, I mean, pretty much with a team like United, any of their players that would come over here would be, they'd be very well known, first off, because the Premier League is on. You can watch every Premier League game now in the United States, and so it's guys like that that are known. When the MLS signs these guys from the Argentine League or Colombia, or people don't really know them when they see them, but when you get guys like Kevin Doyle just came over. He hasn't been in the Premier League in a couple of years, but he's known. Sean Maloney, these guys that have played in Europe that people know, tend to be a little more blockbuster or ticket sale type guys. So yeah, I mean, you could give us anybody, we'll take them. I don't think we'll turn anyone down really.
That's quite a good point that you wouldn't want to turn down. There's people commenting on your daughter enjoying your insight as well as us guys in the comments box. So keep them coming in. One of the players that actually just mentioning players that have been through should have come through the sort of systems and have gone to Freddie Adu. Obviously, there was massive things talked about him when he was like 13, 14. Now at his 19th professional club. Jesus Christ, what happened there?
Yeah, he's actually playing in the second division in the U.S. now.
Yeah. Someone's mentioned that he was playing, he played in some second league pub. You said pub league. It might be a bit like that type of football. I'm not going to judge on that one, but yeah, he didn't. That wasn't his, future projections on my Football Manager all those teams ago. So yeah, I think that's quite an interesting sort of point to become these all sort of players that could have gone. Rooney would have been a real big, like David Beckham obviously brings this major sort of like you say, like people that will come through the gates. But also, a name like Rooney could be the next sort of thing that does it. I'm actually going to put back on your point. In actual fact, I'm wearing Sydney Supporters Club's T-shirt from when they had their 20th anniversary when United were. Oh, it's actually the year after United went on tour to Australia. Oh, they didn't actually go on tour. They actually played only one match in Australia during that tour. That's something we've got a video coming up on. But yeah, I've got there on because sports clubs, another one that's sprung up in the US and quite a big sort of thing. Like you say, all Premier League games are shown, and I'm actually quite surprised. Like you can actually get streams for most of like Fox Sport, and you can literally pick up every single Premier League game in America, which I actually find is quite sort of demeaning to the football fans here in the UK that you can't go. We all love going to United, but who's playing away, or there was X amount of games on a Saturday afternoon, then you can only really watch one if you've got a good stream to watch one on. But yeah, I think that whole thing has actually created a really good community in sort of sense of loads and loads of United fans can gather in places like MUFC Boston's such a massive supporters clubs, and there's like others in New York, in LA and stuff like that. They're real big sort of groups of United fans that meet up and really well organised as well, and they're able to like go to these tour games now and just be like the same as what I and others would be in Old Trafford, just like big groups of United fans being able to watch the game together. So I think that's just a real sort of pull of what United's like on tour, and that has got to help the MLS in terms of like future stuff. I'm gonna go way back off topic because we're gonna start on San Jose Earthquake, and they're United's next opponents. I'm not entirely sure what time it's going to be here in the UK. I'm hearing it's evening on Saturday. I'm going to come to you first on Dusty, and then we'll get the other guys' views for United. Dusty, you've obviously watched these week in, week in the MLS. What can we expect from them? What would United fear from them in terms of they're the same sort of stage, having to play games and such like as we've seen the MLS season start? So they're into their season already. What can they bring? What can they bring to a pre-season game apart from just experience of United being able to play a team that are probably in form, maybe?
Yeah, they've been. I think they've played about close to 20 games so far. They're kind of bottom of the table. MLS is split into two conf. Okay, sorry, my mic was going out. MLS is split into the West and East, and San Jose's in the West. And they Friday night, actually, at the same time United was playing, they played their rivals, LA Galaxy, who are kind of the darlings of MLS. They have Gerrard, Robbie Keane. They just signed Giovanni Dos Santos from Mexico. They actually led LA 2-0 in the first half, ended up losing 5-2. Gerrard scores his first goal in that game. That kind of speaks more to LA's being kind of the class of the league right now. But San Jose is a decent side. They have a new manager, coach, you would say. He used to coach them. Then they moved to Houston, and he coached in Houston for 8-9 years. Now he went back to San Jose, so they're kind of being rebuilt almost as a franchise. They have a lot of young players. They just signed, actually, Friday, they just signed Mark Pelosi, who used to play for Liverpool. American youngster. So he's back here in the States. They have a couple of big name guys. MLS has what they call designated players. You can sign up to 3 players who will not count against the salary cap. They have a Swiss international innocent who's kind of their big signing of the offseason this past year. Chris Wondolowski, who many of you may remember from the World Cup as the American player who was all alone in front of goal against Belgium and missed. And he still gets grief for it here, as I can see the other guys shaking their heads. They remember. Wondolowski's probably their best player. That miss aside, he's joint top scorer in a season in MLS history. I believe he had 27 one year. So he's quite good. But yeah, San Jose is kind of one of those teams. A lot of other teams in the league see them as very physical. It'll be interesting to see how they play in a friendly like that, because they are kind of a physical team that they like to get after people. They have a brand new stadium, which I thought was kind of interesting that they're playing United at their new stadium because it only seats 18,000. It's kind of small. And they've actually played games this year. They played LA their first time at a different stadium where they could get 50,000 people in it. So they have access to bigger stadiums. I guess they just want to get people to the new stadium, show it off internationally. It does have the largest outdoor bar in North America, which they are very proud of. But
yes, for a football match, that definitely good for pre-match sort of.
Yes, they like to have a good time there in San Jose. The field, the stadium is actually like touching the airport, so you may see planes and things flying over. But yeah, no, they San Jose.
Good downdraft when the keeper's taking a goal kick. Yeah. If the ball comes down in the other side of the stadium after looping past the keeper in the opposite net.
Yeah, it's. I think a lot of people were kind of surprised at San Jose being one of the teams in the International Champions Cup because they're not really champions of anything. They won 2 MLS Cups a long time ago. They won the Supporters' Shield, which would be like the league championship in England. But we have playoffs, which culminate in the MLS Cup, which is kind of seen as the real champion. They won that 3 years ago. But like I said, they're kind of rebuilding right now. New coach, bringing in some newer players. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out and play against a team like United. Most of their guys have probably never really been on that stage that they'll see coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to highlight a little bit of the conversation there, including the fact that we've probably got a new US woman's player on the making there. She was brought into shot and then seems to be entertaining herself now. But yeah, let's go over to you first, Nate. What would you like to see from this next upcoming game? Let's have some sort of. I know that Louis van Gaal's going to try to play all the players yet again. It seems to be sort of the way that he wants to get everybody to have like at least the same amount of pitch time, which actual fact is quite fair enough. Wasn't the same sort of tactic that he used last tour, but you know, this is a different tour for him. He's been able to fully plan this one, even made his own changes to it. So yeah, where do you think that you would like to see? Would you like to see a different combination of players, for instance, start? Would we like to see Schweinsteiger start rather than Schneiderlin or Herrera?
I think it's interesting about that is the fact that, you know, last year Van Gaal came in obviously late after the World Cup. We were, you know, he's arriving on a Tuesday or something, and we're flying out Wednesday morning, and so, and he gave everyone a chance, you know, all the way up through the Carling Cup or through the League Cup. He made it and gave everyone, I guess, what he felt was like a fair shot before he started loaning players out, selling them, whatever it was. And so this year, I think it's really fascinating. You know, he came out and said, I'm going to do, you know, 2 separate teams, 45 minutes each for the first couple matches, then the last 2 going to do 60 minutes or whatever. So, you know, I think this game will probably look similar to Club America, but as far as the teams, I would like to see him maybe throw a wrench in there and throw Schweinsteiger on at the front, maybe put Herrera with the other team at the back, and just see what Schneiderlin and Schweinsteiger can do together in that midfield. I mean, I love Herrera. We all do. He's a beast. I love what he does. But it'll be interesting to see in a friendly, especially against San Jose, how it is. Because San Jose they are physical. I have had a chance to watch a few of their matches this season, and they're not doing so great in the standings and in the table, but they are more of a physical team as it goes to the MLS. So it would be interesting to see, Schneiderlin breaking up plays, getting it to Schweinsteiger. I liked watching him in the second half of the Club America match. He was so calm on the ball, turning, twisting, even passing it when it seemed like it might be too late to get the ball out from under his feet. He got it out, and now we can actually look forward to seeing them together would be my hope. And watching Schneiderlin break it up, Schweinsteiger pushing forward, and hopefully we'll see a couple more goals as well. And I wouldn't obviously mind them coming from the midfield. I would like to see Memphis and Rooney, if they're going to play together in this one, again, maybe to link up a little bit easier. It's going to take time. I know I'm not asking for the world on the second match, but being able to watch their partnership grow. I was reading some quotes on Twitter coming from Memphis talking about how Rooney was trying to help coach him and they were trying to get together, and just how it's going to take some time. So I'd like to see maybe Louis van Gaal play different lineups just to see what it looks like. And then I'm imagining, against Barcelona and then at the last match against PSG, we're probably going to have a pretty good idea of what the team's going to look like. So wholesale changes for me, and kind of watch him play with it a little bit and see what he likes.
Yeah, I was going to say we'd go back to playing. We're not suggesting that you should be playing around with his tactics at this time. Formation-wise, don't start playing with those yet again. Jesus Christ. We go back to 3-5-2. Start playing Sam Johnson up front or anything like that. Yeah, I'd like to see him sort of make some sort of changes in sort of like to see what different partnerships we come up with. But like you say, I do think that could be interesting. I can't remember the dates. Oh, so it's not that it's going to be before the Barcelona match that we get to see the likes of Di Maria joining in and Rojo. So that's not going to sort of take effect, is it? So yeah, I think I was mentioning there was a couple. I'm just going to go back to quotes before I go to you, Pasha, because there's a couple of nice things. Dale's joining in on the chat as he is joining on Twitter. He was asking for Bebe. Not entirely sure where he wanted to see. Somebody asked him where Bebe is now. Probably been eaten by Anderson at some point. Jemba Fortune. Cleberson was another one. I think they were trying to put him in the middle three. Absolutely bonkers ideas, guys. Jack actually mentioned we played 4-4-2 against Club America. I actually thought we did. I thought it was a bit strange. Obviously, that's another one that you wouldn't want him to see. Maybe he's going to tinker between 4-3-3 and 4-4-2 at times during the season. He's going to up and coming season. Venus gives an entire squad here, in actual fact. He wants to see De Gea play. I'm not entirely sure what his injury status is. I'm going to put that in brackets just to see if we can cause up some controversy. Damian Otamendi, Jesus Christ, Woodward, get on the blower, get him in if that's going to happen. He did put in brackets, please. Smalling, Shaw, Schneiderlin, Schweinsteiger. There's the second person that's put Schweinsteiger and Schneider together in the midfield, although they have added Herrera, Dipe, Rooney, and Di Maria, so you can't have Di Maria in there. So that's one allocation. You're gonna have to go back to the drawing board with that one, pal. But yeah, I didn't see the last game. Schweinsteiger's debut. I take it in the pace of the game was not Premier League standard. Yeah, no, it wasn't bad, to be honest. Pasha, let's have some interesting thoughts on Pasha. Give us your thoughts on this idea of putting Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin together, because we said all this transfer window when we've done transfer weekly. Can't remember what we even called the program now. It's been that long since I've been on. But yeah, we said, could we get both? We've got both. So would we play both?
Yeah, obviously in a 4-3-3, looking at Louis van Gaal's team, he likes to play total football position style game. Now, what that does that mean? Schneiderlin behind Bastian, Schweinsteiger, and Herrera will do big damage in the sense that controlling the game, style of the tempo of the game. That's what we got to do. In the 4-3-3, looking at the flanks too with Di Maria, or possibly if Di Maria does stay, and Depay breaking out teams that like to park the bus, like Chelsea and stuff. So, that's what it comes down to. It wasn't, people need to remember that these players are versatile. Shannon could play box to box. He could play center, defensive mid. Boston could do the same. That's why Louis van Gaal loves these versatile players, because if one of them injured, somebody could come and take that player's position. So the best thing about this is that people tend to not forget is that Herrera was doing a lot of dirty work last season. So now he has Schneiderlin, especially to do the dirty work for him, so he could push higher up top. And you remember the likes of Di Maria and stuff, that they don't have to track back all the time. So these guys could do the dirty work and stuff, and just controlling the game of the tempo. That's all it's gonna matter. And what I do want to see is that hopefully in one of these preseason games, Schneiderlin plays behind Bastian Schweinsteiger or Herrera, or even we see Bastian Schweinsteiger behind Schneiderlin or Herrera. I definitely want to see that, because Herrera has always been better in the number 10 role as opposed to number 8 or 6. Like he did at his time in Atletico Bilbao. So that's what I do want to see. And once again, in a 4-3-3, you got to have a solid midfield to control the game. And we know Louis van Gaal is always about a position-style game to control the pace of the game, tempo of the game, and that's why you sign these two players. Some people say it doesn't make sense. I don't know how it doesn't make sense. These players are versatile. They could cover. They're multifunctional players. So it's a great signing. And the best thing is knowing that Herrera could play more up top in a more advanced role, as you say, so it could help the likes of Depay, Rooney, and stuff when it comes to the attacking style of the game. But no, it's that's what I do want to see in preseason. And once again, where does he want to fit in Januzaj and stuff like that will be interesting to see. And where does he see the future of Herrera? Does he see him playing the flanks, or does he see him playing center mid? As we saw in the game against Copa America, he's playing more on left wing. So it just comes down to Louis van Gaal trying to access his players in a 4-3-3. Does he want to play as a false 9? It's just there's so many questions to be asked. What kind of 4-3-3 you want to play with United? But having Schneiderlin and Schweinsteiger in the center midfield, that's a dream. We went from bloody Cleverly Anderson to these guys, or Alan Smith or Roy Keane. Come on, now you give me a second. When's the last time we had a player that could fill in for Roy Keane? I was too young at the time to appreciate Roy Keane, but when time progresses, I appreciate him more for what he's done. So, and let me tell you right now, Schneiderlin is a big signing. Fantastic. He's the engine of Southampton, and he's going to be the engine of United. The best Michael Carrick replacement possibly that could be out there for the moment for cheap cuts. 24 million, honestly, for the likes of what the market is. 50 million for Luis and 24 million for Schneider. It's a steal, and football has gone mad. But no, I'm just really happy we bought him, and we just got to march on. It just depends on the striker and the center back we have to bring in. So my last thing is I do want to see Schneiderlin and Schweinsteiger and Herrera play in a preseason match. That's going to do a lot of damage. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think you've been quite heavy on the Schweinsteiger and the other one, Schneiderlin. Yeah. I knew he was trying to get to say both of them in 2 sentences at least. He was. I think there's been a comment. Otherwise, I've just spotted Alex from the United Stands drop by to comment, and then he was making comment. He was reading Twitter at the same time. So good multitasking there, pal. He said that he doesn't care who else plays. Doesn't care who else plays as long as them two play, which I think is going to. And that trio, in actual fact, had an Herrera in. I think we're going to see that either against Barca or PSG. Barca would be a great test, wouldn't it? Just absolutely put those in against Barca's midfield and see what they do. That'd be a great test to see sort of bring them up to the level that we should be going into for the season. Get your comments in on thingy, guys. I'm going to ask some more questions when we see anyone follow Pereira over the last season. I know we've seen him once. Jesse, on that point, I've seen him a lot in his under-21s games, and he's just lightning quick. He just gets over the ground so quickly. Skillful player. You just don't know what he's got. Players just seem to back away from him unless they're really going to have to struggle. But he gets past them. So, yeah, he's going to be really exciting. He's been one of the key players. We've seen a lot of players at United disappear. And him and Jesse Lingard, over the past 2 sort of seasons, have been the ones I've been praying that we keep, really do keep. So I really hope that both of those players get to sort of play some more game time, at least possibly 60 minutes in actual fact. Louis van Gaal really give them at least another 60 to 80, 90 minutes over the next 3 games. It'll be absolutely perfect. Absolutely great. I'm going to go score predictions. I know this is a bit strange for score predictions, and we could actually be just going on for the entire blooming. This could be strangely score predictions. Pre-season, you just not have a clue what's going to happen. But I'm going to come to our MLS guy first. Can San Jose get a result here?
In a word, no. And I noticed someone in the comments said Wondolowski won't be there, and yeah, that totally slipped my mind. The U.S. is playing the semifinals of the Gold Cup on Wednesday, and Wondolowski's on that team, so yeah, he won't be there. So you're probably looking at guys like Adam John up front, Mark Sherrod. As far as the score, 3-1, United, 3-1 probably. If San Jose got a draw out of it, I think that'd be huge. But yeah, I don't see them really competing too much, unfortunately.
Yeah, there was some sort of strange interference there. Oh no, it's just Dusty's daughter again. She's dying to get in on the action here. I'm not entirely sure that she was. I think she was disagreeing with you for score prediction, possibly, Paul. Mate, give us a score prediction, Paul. Let's have a.
Yeah, absolutely. I did tweet out before the Club America match that it could look quite similar to the 7-0 against the Galaxy last season, and I was happy to be wrong. I was happy with the 1-0 just because of how everyone played and looked. So this match, I think I'm just looking to see maybe some more link-up play, obviously a couple more goals, and I'd love to see a 3-0, obviously, to United.
It's not a bad one. 2-0. Give us a at least another clean sheet would be good, wouldn't it? Really. I'm not going to say goal scorers because it could come from absolutely anywhere at the moment, to be honest. And just, with this whole idea of giving everybody a game, literally goal scorers could be Rooney too. Could be I was about to say Johnny Evans. Yeah, probably had another couple million onto his thingy. Steve will be well happy if we get another couple million on his £10 million thingy. I'm still having him for that one. But it looks like he's on his way out. Pasha, give us a score prediction, pal. Maybe give us some sort of SCH type player that might score as well.
I was gonna say A2, but I don't want to wind up Arsenal fans. But it's probably just gonna be like 4-0. Who's gonna score? Definitely want to see Memphis Depay, Rooney, possibly my boy Darmian. I mean, I love the guy to death. I mean, I love the guy. I've been watching him. He's fantastic. No, I think it's gonna be 4-0. It's gonna take a while for the MLS to even try to play against a decent club like United. But so yeah, I think it's gonna be a 4-0. That's about it.
4-0. So confidence going in with the lads here. Let us see us win 3 or 4-0. I think that'd be quite a good sort of step up in terms of sort of attacking prowess for the last game. We should have really been finishing our chances, and then it sort of builds us quite nicely into the Barcelona game when that comes along. I'm going to go back to our comments now. Dale's predicting 4-0. Dare to Memphis has said 7-0. He's probably on the same lines as Pasha. He's probably hoping for 8-2. Snidely to score a hat-trick, just to rub it in the Cockney's faces. Alex has actually he bet it's only going to be another 1-0 again. Some enthusiasm from Alex there. Cheers for that. But yeah, it's good to have some better score predictions, I suppose. We're going to end now, guys. I'm going to say thanks to all the guys that have joined us today. We're going to preview and review the next game after Saturday, clearly. After Tuesday, so stick around for Wednesday, Thursday. Some great content up. Louis Macari interviews coming up. Jonathan's been out in the States, probably getting jet lag on the way back at the moment, but he was out in the States, actually sneaked into the press conference as well, so we quite enjoyed getting some contacts for future interviews and stuff like that. So they're going to be coming up. I've got some nice features that I'm going to edit for in the week as well. About United being on tour in the States and also Australia and other places, Japan and stuff, with very infamous Pete Bolton, who I spotted his flag again at Altrincham yesterday. So yeah, it's good to have some great variety of content coming up, guys. So get subscribed if you're not already subscribed. Give the thumbs up to the video. Get your comments in below if you're watching this not live. Let's see your thoughts. If you disagree with any of the panel, we'll go through them during the next 24 hours and comment back and see what everybody thinks ahead of the Earthquakes game. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in, for your comments, and we'll see you again soon.